This over here is a mini PC, and what I'm attempting to do today is install an RTX 5090 onto this little guy here. Let's go. Licensing Windows is cheap and easy with Hoolkeys.com, and if you use the code TN20, you get an extra discount. Complete the purchase, copy the key, and paste it to the activation settings. And you're all done. Also check out their Microsoft Office 19 license and use the same code TN20 for the extra discount. Check out Hoolkeys.com in the video description below. So we're gonna have to do this in steps, and I'll show you how you can do it. Let's open up this here. So basically this is from Beelink, and this is the GT Ultra series. Or GTI. This is with the 3900HK CPU, so it's a laptop or mobile CPU, 32 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte of storage, Wi-Fi 6, 2.5 gig LAN. In a minute, it's gonna have a massive GPU. This here should be the cheat what's about to happen. Gaming, rendering, high-speed graphics display, and more. We're gonna take this to the max. Ooh, looks like gunmetal gray. Oh, look at this beauty. I've tested some Beelink mini PCs before, and their quality is top of the charts. Like as good as it can get with mini PCs. They've got it all going there. We've got very good I/O. We've got Thunderbolt 4 USB-C, headphones and mic combo jack, HDMI display port, dual 2.5 gig LAN. All of these USB Type A ports are 10 gigabits in speed, so USB 3.2 Gen 2. In the front, we have another 10 gigabit USB Type A port, SD card slot. This is USB-C port that's only 10 gigabits in speed, another 3.5mm audio jack, and a power button. Now, underneath, this is the magic sauce port here. Okay, we can take this rubber off, and this is a PCIe slot underneath there. There is also 2 M.2 slots if you want to upgrade your storage. With the PC, we also get HDMI cable and power cord. These 4 holes on the top there, they're actually microphones. So it comes with speakers and microphones inside the mini PC as well. In order to make this work, I actually have to have a little bit of an extra thing. This docking station here. This is dedicated graphics docking station. And this basically allows us to connect into that slot and give us graphics card slot, which is gonna make things very, very interesting. We've got the actual dock. Underneath, we've got a GPU bracket to hold, the back. This tiny little card is a little converter from the M.2 slot, which is inside the dock, to an M.2 Wi-Fi card as well. Because the dock has Wi-Fi antennas in there, you could install something inside and get some extra connectivity, which is nice. Then we've got a little bracket to hold the mini PC together. We've got some screws, 2 8-pin PCIe power cables, and another power cord. Now, if you look at the dock layout, we've got the PCIe slot that will slot into there. So your mini PC will kind of go into there sideways. You've got 1 PWM connector there. 12 volt ground, so you can put any fans or something like that in there if you wanted to. You've got Wi-Fi antennas if you're going to install the Wi-Fi card in there. This is a full size slot for a PCIe. I'm hoping our graphics card's going to fit in here. You've got 1 USB port and then 2 8-pin PCIe power cables, which is usually the cables that come with it. And I believe this officially supports up to RTX 4080 in here. We're going to try 5090. Looking underneath, we've got some screws in here. There's a power supply inside that is up to 600 watts. And that's why I'm thinking we want to try the RTX 5090 and max out the 600 watts. We'll see if we can do that. There's a power button in here as well. And it says here that power up this docking station before you power up the PC. Interestingly, both of these have power supplies built inside. So even this mini PC, the power supply is inside. Let's take a look at what's inside. Okay, it's very, very tight to get this back slot off. So here's our M.2 slot. As you can see, you can pop your M.2 slot in there. This only has 1 PCIe Gen 4 lane, I believe, but there's the Wi-Fi antennas if you want to have a Wi-Fi card in there and just use it as a Wi-Fi card and so on. So there's no reason really to go inside there. You can see a little fan underneath there that cools the power supply. Oh, and there's a little thermal pad for the M.2 heatsink that would go over this as well. So inside of this docking station is really boring, but you can upgrade it and configure it if you want more storage and you're not so bothered about the graphics PCIe lanes. The graphics slot on this dock is PCIe Gen 4 X8. Now, the RTX 5090 is PCIe Gen 5 X16. So we're losing quite a lot of official bandwidth, but what we've seen online is that it shouldn't really make a difference. Let's test it out. Another thing to mention over here is these are two PCIe cables. In theory, they can supply 600 watts because that's what the power supply really provides. This dock only came with two 8-pin PCIe cables, but this one, as you know, requires 4 of them. But you can buy online cables that make it 2 PCIe 8 pins to one 600 watt PCIe 5.0 cable. So basically this one. I got this from the Seasonic PX 1600 watt power supply box, and I was like, I really hope that the pin layout is exactly the same, because some of the PSUs don't have it the same. So really check the pin layout. And here they have actually labeled it onto here, so you can see where the pin layout was. And I checked this cable and it's exactly the same. If you have it wrong, like your 12 volt is somewhere else where ground is, you can completely fry your GPU. This, I am 95% sure, is exactly that, because that's what it said online. Still a bit of a risk. Now, what we'll do is turn this PC on and set up the PC. But before that, I want to see what's inside this PC as well. Okay, there's screws underneath these rubber grommets. Okay, 4 screws, and this is open. We're gonna look inside. Voila, we've got a little filter here so that the intake on the bottom, if you have dust that's coming in here, it's not actually resting onto any of the equipment down there. So to get this off, there's another 4 screws. And what you can see here is a dual speaker setup. You can take this off. Interestingly, this little guy here is the power supply. That is very condensed and very well positioned power supply. Look at that. If you want to get to the M.2 slots, we're gonna have to keep digging. Okay. So here's the antenna for the Wi-Fi. Just careful with these wires. And then the power supply. Just watching that this cable there would come out. This looks super compact. It's 145 watts, I believe, but in order to get the rest out, I have to take the speakers out. I hope not. I don't think so. I think if we get these 3 screws in the middle, then underneath everything should come loose. There's a lot of different size screw headers, so be careful. Feels like there's something else underneath there. I think it is this standoff there. I haven't even turned it on. It's already teared apart. Okay, I don't want to take this off because it's going to be very faffy to plug back in. I'm just going to peel it sideways so we can see underneath. There is one M.2 already installed, and there's thermal pads on this side, as you can see, that go over the M.2 SSDs as well. There's one that goes over there as well. There's a Wi-Fi and Bluetooth antenna, and then we've got our RAM SODIMM slots in there. You could upgrade the RAM if you wanted to, get loads installed up to 96 gigabytes if you wanted to. I want to install something else in there. If you want to change something, it's quite a bit of an operation, but the good thing is it is possible, and you don't have to undo any glue apart from the tiny little screw covers in the beginning, and that's it really. Let's turn this mini PC on. Go. By the way, as I'm setting up this PC, can you see this over here is a fingerprint sensor that I'm actually setting up right now. Okay, while the PC is setting up, why don't we set up this dock and with the graphics card? By the way, this is Palette RTX 5090 Game Rock. Screw this on first. Okay. Screw the support in. Plug in the power cable. Now we just plug in the power on the back of this. And in essence, this is all good to go. So I'm gonna shut the PC down, and then we're gonna plug it in, and then let's see what happens. So we'll take the mini PC, and I guess we just lay it on the top there. And it plugs in. This little bracket goes over there to this. I'm gonna plug in the display onto our GPU now. I'll plug in Ethernet here as well. It says that power on the docking station first. So we're gonna press that button there. Okay, that light is on. GPU's not on yet. No fans, nothing are going on the GPU yet. So I'm gonna press the PC power button now and see what happens. Oh, the GPU is lighting up. That just worked, but we don't have video out. So I'm gonna change the output to the mini PC. Then let's install the driver and then let's see. Okay, as you can see on the mini PC, it's on, fingerprint sensor. Voila, it works. I've got the driver for this in here. So let's see if it recognizes what's going on here. Come on. Yes. Okay. It knows that there is an RTX 5090. Okay, right now on Task Manager, I don't see the NVIDIA GPU there yet. Most likely because the driver is still installing. Also, what you can see down there right now is the power draw. So I've connected the extension for both of these to the power draw down there. I'm pulling about 105 watts right now. So this is combined power of the GPU and the PC. It wants to restart. Let's restart. And I'm gonna pull the display port out or HDMI out and I'm gonna put it on the GPU. When I'm plugging it into the mini PC, so let me log in. I'll plug it into the dedicated GPU. Let's see if it works. Not right now. Might have to do some BIOS settings. Okay, it's not showing up on BIOS. I mean, even on Task Manager right now. It just rebooted itself. What's going on? Okay, it only shows our Intel GPU installed here right now, but it says device 2. So let's go into the BIOS and maybe I'll have to swap on like the dedicated GPU, turn the internal off. Looks like you can do even some overclocking here on the CPU. I'm not so interested in that. So primary display, we're gonna put this as PCIe. Internal graphics, we're gonna disable that. So making sure that we actually get it from external there. Skip scanning of external GFX card. No, we don't want to skip. External graphics card, it should be on now. So we're gonna hit save configuration and exit. Yes, I'll plug that into our HDMI slot in there. We've got video out through the GPU. Come on, show us RTX 5090 in there. Oh no, what's happening? Okay, it froze. Don't freeze again. It's freezing for some reason. We'll go back to BIOS. So it was System Agent, PCIe Express configuration. Let's have a look. Just add this. I don't know what these settings do in here. System Agent. We'll go graphics. Graphics turbo. Primary display is that one. Internal graphics, I'm gonna press auto. Primary display, I'll just put this auto as well. Then I'll press go. It shouldn't be about the GPU because why would Windows hang just because of the GPU? Unless there's something else. Again, something makes this hang right now. Let's troubleshoot, see if it is actually the 5090 or something else. Okay, I'm gonna power that down. I've got a 40 series GPU here. This is the ProArt 4080 Super. Got it plugged in. The HDMI goes to the internal graphics right now. I have to power the GPU dock on first, and then our PC. GPU fans are going. It shows that it's booted, but the iGPU is not working. Okay, it might have sent video output on the external GPU. Oh, there we go. So that worked. Look at that, 4080 Super, it does work. So first, I want to see if there might be a power issue or something like that. Okay, the internal GPU is not on at the same time right now. GPU Z is showing us PCIe X16 4.0, which the GPU is, at X8 1.0. So that's on there right now. So let's see what happens. So we're pulling 3 watts right now on the GPU power, which is really good. I'm gonna open Firmark, I'm gonna put a load on it and then see what happens then. Okay, it's kind of struggling with power, as you can see. It's only pulling 123 right now. The total of it from the wall, we're pulling 220, something like that. But there must be a power issue, failure, because it's not able to pull all the power from there. Why is it only giving us half of the power? That is the question. Okay, I'll run it 720p and I'll run a CPU burner at the same time. Let's see what happens. Look at that. The graphics power went right down to 15 watts. There is some kind of a power delivery issue here. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna restart, cause it starts updating now. So, welcome back. This is another day. Here's what's happened. For some reason, I couldn't get it to work with any of the 50 series GPUs. So then when I tried to make it work with the 50 series GPUs, something happened to the PC, something like that. So the Windows completely hung and I wasn't able to get to Windows. It started acting up. So I resorted to completely wiping the PC, starting all over again, reinstalled Windows, updates, everything again, to see if that works. Fiddled around with BIOS settings, coming back, couldn't quite get it to work. Then I thought maybe it's the issue with different GPUs. So I tried the RTX 4080 Super from Asus ProArt. That one worked, no problem. I'm using the same driver, by the way, for all of them. Then thought, okay, I know that the 4080 Super is working. Try to power draw. We're pulling 320 watts plus, so it's not a power issue, because I thought maybe the 5090 is not supplied enough power to actually power the beast, and that's why it's acting up. Then when plugging in the 50 series again, I'm seeing exactly the same issues. I thought maybe this is the Palette ASRock GPU somehow broken, because as you've seen online, there's some driver issues and apparently some 50 series are breaking because of the driver issues, and I'm using the same driver. So I thought, oh my goodness, have I broken my 5090 already? Then I thought, okay, well, we've got to test it. So I took the Founders Edition 5090, plugged that one in, exactly the same things. And I thought, oh my goodness, how I break two of the 5090s now. Then I thought, we've got to test the 4090. So this is the Zotac RTX 4090 Extreme Amp. This is one of the OC cards of 4090 and is actually working. So check this out. We've got this on Task Manager open. I've got Intel iGPU open as well, and NVIDIA RTX 4090 installed. So this cable is actually completely fine. I'm getting quite a lot of power draw here as well. So let's open hardware info. In fact, actually, let me turn the PC off because I've got a very special thing I just remembered and I want to try it out. So I've got the WireView Pro from Thermal Grizzly, and this should actually show us the power draw through that port in there. So let's see if it starts working. It should be pretty much plug and play. So I'll just take the power cable off. You plug it into the bottom here. Okay. And then plug that into there. Okay. Power the GPU up again. Okay, there we go. And power the PC. Look at that. Simple as that. So I'm gonna open hardware info and Firmark and MSI Afterburner. Okay, GPU showing 29 watts pulled right now, whereas the WireView is showing 42 watts pulled. So software is under showing. I'm gonna press run on Firmark. Software is showing roughly around 448 watts. And here we go in from 400 all the way to 460, kind of pulling like that. So as you can see, 450 watts for this dock power supply, not a problem. Now they say up to 4080 Super is fine. I'm seeing this is fine. Also, what I've seen online is some of the people are saying that they can only fit 2-slot GPUs because of these things in the back. I've got a 3-slot GPU installed. Maybe they've changed the dock design since then. It's completely fine. 4090, look at that, 450 watts pulled. As you can see, we're pulling roughly around 525 watts. That is including the PC power, because I've got everything plugged into the same extension cable, and that's measuring that. Now, here's the thing. If we add 110% of power draw from MSI Afterburner, go, take a look at this. Software is showing 493 pulled. Here you can see over 500 watts pulled in there. So the GPU is pulling 500 watts. The wall is pulling 573 watts. So power-wise, I don't think the 5090 would have been an issue. I think there's something else going on. because let's take a look also if we add a CPU burner now to this, because then we can have an extra wattage, but then it's 2 power supplies actually powering all of this. The mini PC and then actual GPU as well. So multi-core go, and then let's go back in here. Let's see if GPU power draw goes down. Yeah, it does go down to 400 watts, but the CPU is pulling roughly around 54 watts. Interestingly, we've got PL1 and PL2 limit at 54 watts, even though there is a setting on BIOS for higher performance, which is 65 watts, what we saw earlier. So if I pause that, we're going back to 500 watts. As soon as I start CPU power, we're going down to 400 watts roughly. So right now we're pulling 546. If I stop the CPU, we're going back to about 573, something like that, wattage pulled. Interestingly though, altogether, the dock supports roughly around 600 watts, the mini PC around 145, so 750 roughly watts altogether, which is not bad. But look at the GPU. As you can see, power draw is not an issue. Feeling the cables, wow, the backplate is very hot. You can burn your hands in there. Here's what I think the actual issue is with this here. I think because the RTX 50 series is PCIe Gen 5 card, and that slot is PCIe Gen 4 X16, which means that we're not getting all of the PCIe lanes. And I think there is a driver issue. Even though the bandwidth shouldn't be an issue, especially for a power draw and so on, I think there is a driver issue. Let me just stop this because it's getting so hot in here. I think there's some kind of a driver compatibility issue, because I think most people won't be putting this on a PCIe Gen 4 X8 slot, even though this is quite a normal thing to do if you're like earlier versions of any of the CPUs, then you're probably gonna have PCIe Gen 4 X8 there. I think that's where the issue comes, because it's actually gonna crash the actual PC. Let me show you what happens. So I'm gonna shut it down. Once you shut down, I'll turn the GPU off as well. Take the power cable out. Oh, this is one hot muffin here. Okay, we're back on, powering on, HDMI cable in. And take a look at that. We've got some colors, beautiful RGB. See? It's coming up for now. We're loading onto the Windows. It's pulling constantly 43 watts, interestingly. As you can hear, the Windows has turned on. We're gonna log in. I'm gonna go to Task Manager. And as you can see, we've got only the iGPU, not the dedicated GPU. So I'm gonna just restart the PC. Let's see if it turns up. Still restarting the PC. There was a little squeak or something like that in there. What's going on? So there was video output over the GPU. Okay, all right, come on, can we get to Windows now? Same thing happened. Can you see? It's stuck on Windows. The display is just crashing somehow, okay? It's pulling more power, but for some reason, that's what it does. It just crashes in there. Now it stays there till the end of the days. The display crashes, which I think is some kind of a PCI issue. So if I turn it off, I can force shut it down, but that's how it goes. I think this is an issue between the card and the dock, between the PCIe lanes, and then actually getting it shown there. I haven't seen any 50 series actually show up. So that's that. That aside, what do I think about this mini PC? I think this is an incredible setup. This is insane if you want to just have a lot of graphics power for your desk. Now, if Beelink keeps updating the mini PCs, it will be amazing to get a 16 lane one, where we've got 16 PCIe Gen 4 or 16 lanes of PCIe Gen 5 lanes with some of the newer chips. That will be absolutely incredible. Now, there are some mini PCs with AM5 socket. I would love to get an AM5 socket in here and then get an actual changeable mini PC inside there. You could put like 65 watt TDP on 7900X, 7800X. It will be incredible PC, and we get all the PCIe lanes. Now that's what is impressive. To add a GPU into there for your creative workflow, it's amazing. We get right now the Intel QuickSync and the graphics. Unfortunately, 50 series, right? I think there's some driver issues. I think it should work in the future still. I think this is an awesome dock. Really amazing. And if you want to, chop salad with it, very efficient probably as well. If you want to check it out or any of the GPUs I was testing, check them out in the video description below. Thanks very much guys for watching, and if you know how to fix these issues, I'll meet you in the comment section below. Bye bye.